So this morning we want to begin with Philippians 3, verse 1. So I'll read the first verse here. It says, "Finally, my brothers, rejoice in the Lord. To write the same things to you is no trouble to me and is safe for you." You say, well, didn't you talk about that a few weeks ago? Yes, I did. Rejoicing is important. Rejoice, we talked about then, was to be delighted again by God's grace. And we were singing that song this morning about remembering, and I was delighted again by God's grace of what He's done in my life. My joy is not anchored in the circumstances or how I'm feeling or my health. My joy is actually anchored in His unchanging character. And the language that doesn't really come through in the English, proactive continual command, it means keep on, be constantly. It's about a lifestyle of rejoicing, especially when you don't feel like rejoicing. I talked about the miracle supplement that it was, the tremendous benefits that rejoicing has that comes to us from medical science, where physically, if we have a rejoicing lifestyle, if we are positive and full of gratitude and thanksgiving and rejoicing, studies show that it adds between 5 and 10 or more years to your life. That's significant. Your mental health improves greatly. And your relational health improves because people want to be around you because they feel better when you're around, as opposed to feeling worse when you're around. You don't want to be what I would term very draining people. You want to become a VIP, very inspiring people. And that's what happens when you rejoice. You say, well, didn't we talk about all this? And I say, yes, we did. But like Paul said, to write the same things to you is no trouble to me and is safe for you. So I want to remind you, what do you need to do? Rejoice. When you're having a lousy day and things are going bad, what's the answer? Rejoice. That's right. It's amazing what happens when you, in the midst of a difficult situation or you don't know what to do, you begin to rejoice and all of a sudden you see options that you didn't see before. Something to be thinking of. So I won't get tired of reminding you, and it's safe for you. But then Paul switches right away and he says this. He says, look out for the dogs. Look out for the evildoers. Look out for those who mutilate the flesh. Now, we have a problem in translating culture here. When I say the word dogs, I think of, adorable puppies, little fur babies, faithful companions, things like that. That's not how the people of Jesus' day saw dogs. Dogs were not pets. They lived on the outskirts of civilization. They rooted through the garbage. They consumed dead bodies that weren't buried. If you remember the story of Jezebel, she was thrown off the palace walls and it was dogs that ate her. Dogs were held in contempt. They were considered unclean scavengers. They were dangerous, pack-oriented prowlers. And you didn't want to be anywhere near a dog. In fact, in the book of Proverbs, it talks about the foolishness of getting between two fighting dogs. Why? Because they were wild, vicious animals. And they symbolized impurity, violence. They were social outcasts. Now, from the very beginning of time, true to what Jesus said and what others, the other apostles said, the church has been plagued by wolves and dogs. People that are out to destroy the church, out to damage the church.